My name is Meesa.
My name is Meah.
Also known as M&M, and you're listening to the #1 teen and young adult radio show in the nation for inspiration. And we are going in. As always, here in the studio, thanks so much for tuning in. That was Fool by Caleb Mitchell, a song requested by our in-studio guest, the one and only Erinn Knight.
Yes, we got Erinn Knight in studio with us right now. Listen, we're going to jump in this week's conversation, and we're excited because we have Erinn to join in with us as well. This week's question is all centered around this. Which one of your goals do you think will be the hardest to achieve? Shout out to everybody that commented on this week's question. Due to the sake of time, that's all the comments we're going to read, but we appreciate everybody commenting on this week's conversation. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into it here in studio. Now, of course, because Erinn's our guest, we got to let her answer the question first. So, E, which one of your goals do you think will be the hardest to achieve?
This is such a daunting question to me because I'm not like a big goal setter.
Yeah. Really?
Like when it comes to tangibles. Mm-hmm. So like I'm like one of my goals for last year was to lean in. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that look like from a tangible perspective? So even this year, like I usually don't do goals for the year until about late January, February. Mm-hmm. So even some of my goals right now, I'm trying to see if that makes sense because I'll work through some stuff for a few months and be like, this doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So like, I guess lifelong goals, if we're talking about just percentage-wise, I think one of my lifelong goals to be thanked on a Grammy-winning album is like percentage-wise, like
really?
One of the harder ones. But that's not like, and I feel like I just came up with that because, like, of course, I want to be a part of a Grammy-winning project, but I'm saying like with me specifically involved, I feel like that may be a little difficult. I don't know. I feel like one of the most difficult goals that I have right now is to truly find balance and like be a human as I grow. Like I want to be a successful human more than I want to be rich, and successful in like honoring God, like having a work-life balance, like my family really feeling cared for, me being attentive to the needs of those around me and not becoming an egomaniac. So like if I'm looking at like the thing that I've been struggling with the most in the last 2, 3, 4 months is finding balance. And I feel like as my life accelerates, that's going to be harder to find. So I think that may be my hardest goal at this point. So
a Grammy mention in an acceptance speech. And
not the acceptance speech, like on the back of the like album.
Yeah, but like both of those are sick.
That's fire.
Like credits.
Now I need that. Well, yeah, because in my head the credit pays more than the shout out on the stage. Right. But I mean a stage shout out could be fire. That's dope. I didn't even think about that.
That's what you meant. I was about to say. That's a pretty good
goal. Like Erinn effect spelled.
No, but even you saying the whole.
That's the effect.
That would be dope. Yeah. But I even thought the balance thing is even really, really good within itself. Because honestly, I was going to ask you, like, how do you even balance all of the things?
That's your golden question right there. Yeah. I mean, when you see Erinn, like I mentioned before, when we met her, she was already juggling so much. You know what I'm saying? So for you to have like your own social life, you got your personal life, you have like your career, you got so much going on. For you to be your age and to really be doing it and literally live your own social life, how do you juggle it all?
That's fire. I'm not married and I don't have kids, so that's like one thing that gives like space to that, and it's something that I don't take for granted. I'm like very grateful for that, but like my desire within the next few years is at least to be married. I'm still not sure about the kids thing because I was a nanny for years and I loved it. I have so many dope littles around me.
Kids is tough.
But no, I mean it's dope. I just don't know if I need to like bring more people into the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to be funny, but like I kind of want to, like I've always wanted to adopt, but I don't. But people were like, when you get married, that'll change. I don't know if I want to have kids at this point. When I was younger, I used to want to have a lot of kids, but so like not having just even specifically tied to a home life, that's like given room and space for me to be able to do so many things. But it was hard because like up until like middle of last year, I've always had at least a full-time or at least a couple part-time jobs, sometimes with a full-time and part-times. So when I started accelerating so fast last year and quit all of my jobs and was like doing this full time, I was still on the road. So I was like drowning the whole time. I was on tour, just acquiring new clients, working on the road with my clients. So it was crazy. So at the top of this year, January is the first month that I haven't been on the road. and I've been full-time in music, like knowing that I wouldn't have to eventually get a job.
Right.
So like every other time I've quit, I've always been like, well, I have 2 or 3 months to see if this is really going to take off, or I got to go get another job. And that's happened to me multiple times. It was cool for that time, but this is the time that I'm like, there's no way I'm ever getting a job again.
Yeah.
Lord willing. You know what I'm saying? Because I like wouldn't have time for it. And bless God that like we're making the proper money right now.
Right.
And not like I'm rich by any means, but I can pay my bills, and I know like I have money every month coming in the future as long as I keep working in the way that I am. I think for me, the hard part of the balance though is that I do have so many clients, and I treat my clients like my family. So this isn't just like, oh, I can clock out. Like they can call me with life-altering trauma or inspiration at any moment. So it's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. And so even just finding balance in that, like setting more boundaries because I have more people. So I just don't pick up my phone like certain times in the morning. I just like, I'll hit you back later and they'll survive. Yeah, and then like really being involved in my church, that's something that I feel like if I'm giving my talents to everybody, the first place I should be giving is my church. Nice. And so that's been hard for me because I travel so much. Then when I come back in town, it's like I may only be in town one Sunday every other month. And so a lot of times I end up in kids on that Sunday. So it really is a struggle for me because then it's just like I'm still not being in the congregation. Listening to the podcast is not the same, you know? And then even visiting other bodies of believers while I'm traveling is still not the same as being with my church. And I love my church. So finding the balance with that, I just started a small group that's for people who travel. So like, I don't know. It's cool. My church is really trying to work towards people. There's a lot of creatives in my church, so they're trying to work towards that. But the balancing is super hard. Even just like sleeping the proper amount of time, pushing myself to work more, letting myself not work as much, not scheduling as many meetings so I can sit down and actually get emails and stuff done. So it's been difficult, but I started waking up earlier. Like I wake up at like 6 now, and so like the Lord has really just been like giving me wisdom and just kind of showing me like ways to make it work.
It's interesting because the entire time that E's been here, I've literally been so inspired. So motivated.
In so much.
But I mean, but it's not only that, but it's like every single time we come in contact with you, like every time we have a conversation, regardless of what event that we're at, whether we're just at somebody's house just having a game night or we're just, on studio, like, I mean, just doing whatever, a birthday party, it doesn't have to be anything. You're such a person to look up to. But since we're talking March motivation here on the show, to anybody out there, if you had an opportunity to just inspire our listeners, anybody watching out there, what would you say to them that's trying to start a business?
Young entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs who have big goals that are probably hard to achieve. What advice could you give them in this moment?
I just say keep going. I think that's something that we always are like looking for, some big spark, or this thing's got to happen, or if I have these tools or this much money to invest. Like, no, just like keep going. Surely by consistency, you'll start to get things done. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're not good at what you're doing, and I know that sounds terrible, but if you're not good and you're consistent, you'll still achieve what you want. That's like, good. This is not trying to be funny, but the chick who, so there's the originator of the Renegade, and then there's another chick who's more popular who is doing the Renegade. She's not doing it right, but she kept doing it. So that's the one that a lot of people on the internet were like, oh, the Renegade. And then we had to set them straight because Atlanta was like, we're not playing that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, consistency. Like, there's so many people who aren't good at things, but they're consistent. So just keep going. And then you'll get better. Or you'll pivot.
Get better even if you suck. Like, that's facts. That is though.
Consistency will only breed you like growing, like some sort of growth. Either mentally you'll be like, I'm not supposed to be doing this, or you'll get better at doing that thing and then excel, or you may be like, I'm actually good at this, but like let me pivot to something that I think would work. So it's consistency. Just keep going.
Listen, wise words from E. Listen, you guys better write those down right now. Listen, we're so happy to have Erinn Knight, the one and only, here on the show. Make sure you guys go connect. And listen, E, give everybody your social media, your website. How can people stay connected with you or get in contact with you?
Yes.
I'm at the Erinn Effect on everything. So that's TheErinn. Yes, I have 2 N's in my name.
Get it right.
The second N is because my mom knew I was going to be doubly awesome. And then it's Affect, AFFECT. So the acronym is TTEA. So it's the Erinn Affect on everything. My website is managemeco.com. So managemeco.com.
ManageMeCo.com. Make sure you connect with Erinn. Make sure you just, you submerge yourself into her social. 'Cause I mean,